The war between Windows and Linux is a never-ending one. There are a lot of disagreements and conflicts happen between people on the internet every day. So if you are new, my name is Mano, and in this channel we will discuss strategies, tips and tricks to make your life easier, better and be more productive. So if you are looking to buy a new computer or a laptop, one of the things you will consider is the operating system it has. And if you are confused to choose what operating system is best for you, watch this video till the end, because in this video I will give you the guide to choose the best operating system for your computer that will meet your demands and needs. So let's begin. Windows and Linux came from completely different backgrounds. They have a different origin. So let's see how they originated and their history for a bit right now. And Windows is a closed source operating system, i.e. the source code of Windows is not available for people like us to use it. And Microsoft has all the rights to the operating system, and they have patents for it. So Windows is basically very simple to use, and it's very user friendly. They have a good graphic interface to make your life simpler. And the initial version of Windows was released in 1985, and then later they copied from macOS. Actually, Apple got rights to use it from Xerox. Xerox was the first one who designed the graphic interface to use on commercial computers. Apple got rights for it. Then Apple kind of copied from them as well, and Bill Gates copied from macOS. Steve Jobs sued macOS, Bill Gates for using copying from macOS. There was a bunch of things going on at that point of time. And then there came Windows 95, which was a breakthrough, and Microsoft captured a huge market share in the operating system market. It had very good graphic interface than its predecessors. And later they released Windows XP, which became a revolution, and from that point every version of Windows Microsoft released has become a really good success for them, except a few like Windows 8 and 8.1, something like that. Linux has a completely different background. Unlike Windows, Linux is a completely free and open source software, i.e. the source code of the Linux operating system is available for people to use. And initially Linux was a personal project of a student in Finland named Linus Torvalds. He wanted a kernel to use his personal computer, and he didn't find anything good in the market out there. So he went out to build his own kernel when he was which he eventually named Linux, and he did this when he was 21 years old. And initially Linux was not as great as it sounds, and it was so horrible. It has no graphic interface, as it was not a proper operating system. It was actually a kernel which is an underlying part of the operating system. And eventually Linux grew to a point where it has more than 23 million lines of code in its source file, and it has a really good market share out there as well. And the conflict between Windows and Linux is a never-ending one. There is always a conflict happening. Even today there are conflicts. There is a quite interesting one as well. Back in those days when Linux and Microsoft was competing with each other, Microsoft Windows launched a campaign where they said why Windows is very better than Linux. And to counter that, the commercial distributors of Linux made their own campaign stating how Linux is better than Windows. And till now this conflict goes on, and the creator of Linux, the Linus Torvalds, the guy who told earlier, used to make bold statements in his interviews. And once he said, a computer is like air conditioning, it becomes useless when you use Windows. This is quite interesting. This guy didn't like Windows at all. He never liked Windows, and but now in some of his interviews he states that Windows has gone developed better, and it became more user friendly. So he is interacting and he is having a good rapport with him there. But he used to make some really good bold statements about the conflicting statements about Windows. And this is quite interesting. They both came from different backgrounds, and now they are in the same field and competing with each other. Now let's put the business battle on the side and see the real battle right now. Let's divide the section into 4 parts: security, compatibility, ease of use and privacy. And let's see who is best in this 4 parts. As far as security is concerned, Linux is way better than Windows, because a Windows system can be easily hacked, and because one of the reasons being it is a closed source, because only a group of people will be working on that. On the other hand, Linux is an open source, and many people all around the world will be working on it, and if there is a bug, it's more likely to be fixed quickly as well. So let's come to the next one, which is compatibility, right? And a lot of software which you might use daily supports Windows a lot more than Linux. For example, any Adobe software you can take, from Photoshop or Premiere Pro or Lightroom, all these software supports only Mac and Windows operating systems and not on Linux. So if you're trying to use, or if you're using Linux, you'll be missing out on these kinds of software, and there are a lot of software which supports only Windows as well. Considering ease of use today, both Windows and Linux are really good. They have really good UIs, and from in Linux side, they have many distros, they have many flavors which provide really good UIs for the users. And as we all know, Windows provides their own good user interface. They have really good graphic interface. But if you are looking to use your computer for the first time, and you are trying out computers for the first time, I guess Windows has a better edge over that, because it's so simple. You just click on something and you will get what you want. But in most cases, both Windows and Linux are good in terms of UIs, and for someone who is trying out computer for the first time, maybe you should try Windows for that. And for privacy matters, Linux is way better, because with features like Cortana and many other inbuilt features and softwares, Windows tracks users, and it's a bit of lacking the privacy part of the thing. But yes, obviously you can opt out of that as well, but Linux provides you better privacy than Windows. Now let's see which one is better for you, which operating system which you should choose while you buy a new laptop or a computer. And in my personal experience, I used Windows for a long time, back in the days since Windows XP was even a thing. And my experience with Windows XP, Windows 7 was great. And Windows 10, I'm not a big fan of Windows 10 to be honest, because it was lagging a bit here and there. And it was initially good. I'm not saying it's really bad. It's initially good when I used it. And once I started using my computer extensively for run heavy software, and when I got into building apps, things changed. My laptop used to hang a lot more often than it used to be, and whenever I run Android Studio, it hangs completely. So there was a lot of friction in doing stuff. And important thing is, whenever I install a new software or install a new tool in my system, I have to restart it again and again. If I uninstall, I have to restart. If I install something, I have to restart. If something hangs up, I have to restart. So this was a lot of irritating things which I faced with Windows 10 especially. So I want to be productive, and I want to cut down the friction while working on my system. So I jumped on to Ubuntu, which is a Linux distro, which is a flavor of Linux. It is good. I'm using it till now. It does the job really well. It rarely hangs. My laptop never hang till date because Linux occupies a less RAM on my as well. So it's really great, because I use my laptop personally for more to code and access the internet and listen to music kinds of stuff. So which is great. Linux is really good in that sense. So there will be always three kinds of people who use a computer: the one who works with multimedia files, the one who codes, and the one who uses it only to do search internet and do basic stuff. So if you are in the first category, if you use multimedia files, you like to work with audio, video and images, you like editing them, Windows is the place to go. Windows is operating system to go. You can't go wrong with it, because Windows has all the drivers, and it supports almost all the software that you need to work with multimedia files. So Windows is the place to go. And the drawback with Linux is that Linux is good. I'm not saying Linux is bad at these things, but Windows has an edge over that, because many softwares like Premiere Pro, many softwares like this are not supported on Linux. It supports only Windows. So Windows is the place to go. And if you are on the second type like me, who likes to code a lot on their computers, Linux is hands down the best operating system you can choose, because a lot of tools which you use for coding is pre-installed there. Even if it's not installed, you just say sudo apt install xyz, it's installed for you there. And the important thing over Linux is you don't have to reinstall after installing or uninstalling something, which is great, by the way. So if you are trying to use your computer only to access the internet and do some basic stuff, both Linux and Windows are great. If you try to use word processing, you have Google Docs, which is an online thing. You have Google Excel, everything is online there. Even if you want to work locally, have LibreOffice on this Linux thing. And on this Microsoft Excel, Microsoft Office is there to help you out on Windows. So don't think too much about that if you are trying to use only for accessing internet and do basic stuff on your computer. Either way guys, that's it for me today. Thank you so much for watching. Choose your operating system based on your needs, what you are going to use your computer for. And if you want to experience both Windows and Linux, you can always dual boot your system, or you can try out virtual machines. The choice is yours. And if you enjoyed this video, if you found this video informative, share it with your friends, consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. So see you guys next time. Bye bye.